There are moments in history when the world shifts, when uncertainty is no longer a headline but a feeling we carry in our chest. Right now feels like one of those moments. Nations are divided, leaders are issuing warnings, economies are shaking, and people are scrolling through their phones looking for something, anything, that feels like solid ground. When Donald Trump issued his recent alert, people reacted in two ways, some panicked and some ignored it completely. But there is a third group, the few who understand that moments like this aren't just political noise. They're a call to wake up, not to fear, but to pay attention, because the end doesn't always mean destruction. Sometimes it means an end to comfort, an end to excuses, an end to standing on the sidelines while life demands courage. The truth is, most people don't react until it's too late. We get used to comfort. We settle into routine. We say, one day I'll change, one day I'll be more focused, one day I'll step into my purpose. But what if the message, the warning, is that there is no more one day? What if everything you've been postponing has an expiration date? You don't need a politician to remind you the world is unstable. You can feel it, you see it, but instead of being paralyzed by it, what if you saw it as an invitation to rise, to grow, to finally become who you were meant to be? But responsibility is heavy. It's easier to blame leaders, governments, systems, or circumstances. It's easier to say the world is falling apart than to ask, what am I doing to rebuild it? We talk about change as if it's supposed to come from someone else. But change has never started from governments. It starts at kitchen tables, in quiet rooms, in hearts that whisper enough. I will no longer wait for someone else to lead me. Maybe the alert isn't about global collapse at all. Maybe it's about personal accountability. Maybe it's time to stop waiting for someone to save the world and start saving the part you can reach. Think about it. Every great movement in history began with individuals who refused to stay silent. People who saw chaos not as an end, but as the birth of something new. The danger isn't that the end is coming. The danger is that we're too distracted to notice what it demands of us, too entertained to be awakened, too comfortable to be courageous. This is not about fear, it's about urgency. Urgency doesn't panic. Urgency prepares, it listens, it acts. It understands that time is not promised, but purpose is available to anyone who seeks it. So ask yourself, if the world truly shifted today, would you be ready? Not with money, not with status, but with character, with integrity, with the kind of strength that isn't shaken when headlines scream. Because at the end of the day, history doesn't remember the people who stayed afraid. It remembers the ones who stood up when it mattered. You don't need to have it all figured out, but you do need to wake up. You do need to stop waiting for peace before you take responsibility. You need to realize the most dangerous phrase a human being can say is, I'll do it later. Later is not guaranteed, this moment is. And inside it is an opportunity, not to fear what's coming, but to become someone who can face it. The alert has been sounded not to scare you, to stir you, to remind you that your life is not a rehearsal. This is it. This is your chance to step forward, while the rest of the world steps back. Fear is natural. It comes when we feel like we're losing control, when the world looks uncertain, when life hits us in ways we never expected. But Inky Johnson taught us something powerful. Fear is not a stop sign, it's a signal. It tells you that you're standing at the edge of something meaningful. And in a world filled with warnings, alerts, chaos, and fear-driven headlines, there's a choice that every human being must make. Will you freeze or will you move forward in faith? When Inky walked onto that football field in 2006, he had no idea that in a single play, his dream of making it to the NFL would shatter. His right arm would never move again. His plan, his career, his future vanished in seconds. But what makes his story powerful isn't the tragedy, it's the response. He said, I didn't ask God to take the challenge away. I asked him to help me grow through it. That is faith over fear. That is strength in uncertainty. He didn't wait for his circumstances to be perfect before he decided to live with purpose. He made a decision. Adversity would not define him. It would refine him. Today, people are worried about the world, about their future, about their families, their finances. They hear leaders like Donald Trump sounding alarms, and they think the world is ending. But what if the end of comfort is the beginning of clarity? What if fear is just life's way of asking you to trust something greater than what you can see? Faith is not pretending everything is okay. It's believing that even when it isn't okay, you can still rise. You can still choose to move. You can still choose to stand. Faith doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It means fear doesn't get to drive your life. Fear says, what if it all goes wrong? Faith answers, but what if it's leading me somewhere I need to be? Inky Johnson always says, the process is more important than the product. In a world addicted to results, we forget that growth happens in the unseen moments. When no one is clapping, when no one is watching, when you're alone, questioning if you can keep going. That's where strength is built. That's where faith is forged. You don't have to have everything figured out. You just have to take the next step. Faith is not about knowing the whole path, it's about trusting that if you keep moving, the path will reveal itself. Fear waits for proof. Faith moves even when there is none. And right now, the world doesn't need more people panicking or arguing. It needs people with courage, people who still believe in purpose. People who don't run when storms come, but stand in the middle of them and say, even if I can't control this storm, I won't let it control me. You might be facing your own personal warning. Maybe it's sickness, heartbreak, failure, betrayal, financial pressure. And like Inky, maybe you feel like everything you planned just collapsed. But here's the truth. Pain is not a sign that you're finished. Sometimes it's a sign that you're being formed. What you're going through right now might not be punishment. It might be preparation for a life that requires stronger faith, deeper character, and unshakable purpose. So don't run from fear. Look it in the eye, acknowledge it, but don't bow to it. Because the people who change the world aren't the ones who never felt afraid. They're the ones who decided that fear would not have the final word. Let faith be louder than your worries. Let purpose be stronger than your excuses. Let this moment, this uncertainty, be the place where you finally choose to trust. Not in comfort, not in control, but in the belief that everything you're facing can be used for something greater. Leadership isn't about being in front of a crowd or standing behind a microphone. It's not about titles, power, or making the loudest noise in the room. Real leadership begins in the quiet spaces, when no one is watching, when no applause is waiting, when the only person you have to answer to is the one in the mirror. Before you can lead a nation, a team, or a family, you must first learn how to lead yourself. That means discipline when it's easier to be distracted, truth when lies are more convenient, and responsibility when excuses are within reach. People often look at leaders like Donald Trump or other world figures and think leadership is about influence, control, or authority. But what if leadership is less about controlling others and more about controlling yourself? What if the true test of leadership isn't how many people follow you, but how many times you choose character over comfort, purpose over ego? Inky Johnson says, character is not something you practice when people are watching. Character is what you truly are when no one's around. It is the decisions you make when nobody will ever know. Leadership is built in those unseen decisions. The world is full of people pointing fingers, blaming politicians, governments, institutions, and systems. But leadership doesn't start with blame, it starts with ownership. The hardest words for a human being to say aren't "I love you" or "I'm sorry." Sometimes the hardest words are "It's on me, I could have done better." We want change without sacrifice. We want influence without integrity. We want power without responsibility. But true leadership demands the opposite. It asks for accountability. It asks for maturity. It asks for the strength to stop waiting for someone else to fix what you are fully capable of changing. What if the chaos we see in the world is not just the failure of leaders, but the failure of individuals to lead themselves? Think about it. How can we expect honesty from governments if we lie to ourselves? How can we demand discipline from society if we refuse to discipline our own habits? How can we ask for unity when we ourselves carry bitterness, resentment, and pride in our hearts? Change doesn't begin out there. It begins in here, inside, in the heart, in the small, consistent choices we make every single day. Leadership is waking up when you said you would, keeping promises you made to yourself, doing the right thing when it doesn't benefit you. It's choosing respect over reaction. It's refusing to let anger or fear make decisions for you. It's being strong enough to forgive, brave enough to apologize, and humble enough to learn. And when the world is screaming, arguing, and dividing, leadership is the voice that stays calm, focused, and rooted in purpose. There will always be people who criticize leaders, whether it's Trump, pastors, teachers, parents, or public figures. But the real question isn't, what are they doing? The real question is, what am I doing? Am I living with integrity? Am I setting the example I wish others would follow? Because leadership isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about showing up even when it's hard. It's about being the same person in private that you are in public. Maybe the alert being issued to the world right now isn't just a political warning. Maybe it's a personal one. Maybe it's a call for you to stop waiting for a hero and start becoming one. Your family needs it. Your community needs it. Your future needs it. And leadership doesn't start on stage. It starts in your heart, in your home, in your habits. The world might be uncertain. Leaders may fail. Systems may collapse. But if you can lead yourself, your mind, your emotions, your decisions, then no matter what storms come, you will not break. You will stand. Because leadership is not about being in charge of others, it's about being in charge of yourself, and that is where true power begins. Pressure is not the enemy, pain is not punishment. They are both teachers, forces that expose what is hidden inside us. The world right now is under pressure, economies collapsing, families breaking, peace interrupted. But pressure doesn't just create stress, it reveals strength. Just like coal under intensity becomes a diamond, human beings under adversity discover who they really are. Inky Johnson's life is a testimony to this. His dream was to make it to the NFL, and he was seconds away from it becoming reality. Then in one play, everything changed. His arm was paralyzed, his future uncertain. The world expected him to break. Instead, he built something greater than a career. He built character, purpose, and resilience. People often pray for lighter burdens, but maybe we should pray for stronger backs. Because the truth is, life will not stop sending storms. You cannot avoid pressure. You cannot eliminate pain, but you can decide what they do to you. Will pain paralyze you, or will it push you forward? Will pressure make you bitter, or will it forge you into something unbreakable? The difference is choice. Most people think strength is found in comfort, but strength is actually born in discomfort. Growth never comes from easy days. It comes from the nights you cried but still woke up the next morning. It comes from the times you failed but didn't quit. It comes from the pain you thought would destroy you, but instead rebuilt you. The world teaches us to run from pain, numb it, ignore it, escape it. But Inky reminds us that pain has a purpose, that suffering is not meaningless if it leads to growth. When you go through something hard, you have two options. You can let it define you, or you can let it develop you. Some of the strongest, kindest, most impactful people didn't get that way because life was easy. They got that way because life tested them, and they decided to respond with strength instead of surrender. Pressure will always ask you a question. Who are you when everything is stripped away? Not your job, not your title, not your reputation. Just you when nobody is cheering, when no one is watching, when your plans fall apart. Do you quit, or do you adjust, learn, and keep going? That's where true purpose is formed, and sometimes what feels like the end is really the beginning. A closed door doesn't always mean you're rejected. It could mean you're being redirected. We live in a generation that wants success without sacrifice, purpose without pain, strength without struggle, but that's not how life works. You can't microwave greatness. You can't rush character. The process is painful, but it's necessary. Inky said, "The thing we want the most often requires the greatest sacrifice." So if you are under pressure right now, if you are in pain, don't assume God has abandoned you. Maybe He is preparing you. Maybe He is shaping you to handle the weight of the destiny you've been praying for. You don't become resilient by staying comfortable. You don't become fearless by avoiding fear. You don't find purpose by running from pain. You find it when you stand in the middle of the storm and say, "This may hurt, but I'm not leaving. I'm going to grow from this." The world might expect you to fold. People may think you're finished. But pressure is not your enemy. It is the stage where your true identity is revealed. So instead of asking, "Why me?" start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" Because one day, someone will need the strength you are building right now. One day, your story will be the reason someone else doesn't give up. And on that day, you'll understand that the pain was never meant to break you. It was meant to build you. Hope is not something you find only when everything is calm. Hope is a decision you make when everything around you tells you to give up. Right now, people hear messages like the end is coming, or see chaos unfolding in the world, and they think it's a reason to panic. But panic doesn't build anything. Panic destroys focus, weakens faith, and blinds us to opportunity. Preparation is wise, awareness is necessary, but losing heart is a choice, and it's one you do not have to make. We have become so used to bad news that we forget good news still exists. We forget that even in the darkest moments of history, there were people who refused to give up. When Inky Johnson lost his dream, hope didn't come from his situation. It came from his perspective. He couldn't control his injury, but he could control his response. He decided not to be bitter, but to be better. That's hope. That's power. Because hope is not pretending everything is okay. It's believing something good can still come out of what is not okay. Fear says, what if it all falls apart? Hope says, what if this is the moment we rise? People think hope is passive, soft, or naive, but it's not. Hope is strength. Hope is discipline. It takes courage to believe when nothing makes sense. It takes toughness to keep planting seeds when the world looks like it's on fire. Hope is not the absence of reality. It's the refusal to let reality steal your belief in a better future. Look around the world. People are divided, confused, overwhelmed. Some are preparing bunkers and giving up on humanity. But maybe the message is not about the world ending. Maybe it's about an old way of living ending. An end to comfort that made us lazy. An end to selfishness that made us blind. An end to waiting for perfect conditions before we choose to care to lead to love. The end of complacency can be the beginning of clarity. The end of distraction can be the beginning of purpose. Preparation is important. Prepare your home, protect your family, be wise, but more importantly, prepare your heart, because no matter what happens, economy, politics, war, what will keep you standing is not what's in your bank account, but what's in your spirit. When storms come, it's not the prettiest house that survives. It's the one built on solid foundation. Build yours on faith, character, and hope. That foundation cannot be shaken by headlines, by opinions, or by fear. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be when everything is uncertain? The one who spreads fear or the one who inspires strength? The one who hides or the one who helps? The one who complains or the one who creates solutions? The world has enough fear, mongers. It has enough negativity. What it needs, what your family, your community, and your future need, is someone who is prepared but still believes, strong but still compassionate. Aware of the danger but not robbed of hope. Hope is a light, and light doesn't deny the darkness. It simply refuses to let darkness win. You don't have to know what tomorrow holds, but you must decide who you will be when tomorrow comes. You can choose bitterness or you can choose belief. You can choose panic or you can choose purpose. You can choose to collapse or you can choose to build. And when people ask you, why do you still have hope? You can answer, because giving up doesn't change anything, but believing gives me the strength to change something. This is not the time to lose heart. This is the time to stand firm. This is the time to protect what matters, prepare for what's coming, and still believe that a new beginning can come from what looks like the end.